Alright, my friends, so we have covered having a soft synth that has organized presets that are undoubtedly, and that's the key word there, undoubtedly um, commercial, if you will, or professional, if you will. The jargon attached to it isn't as important as the feeling you get when you hear the sounds. Um, you know when you hear a well-designed sound that sounds like what you're going for, whether that be synthwave, 80s, 90s house, or current pop commercial, or even EDM of yesteryear. We'll say the 2010s. Um, we talked about various plugins that can help you streamline your process with AI technology, mixing, mastering, and chord progression and melody creation. We talked about workarounds to the chord progression and melody creation with my MIDI pack. Now we're going to talk about the other missing piece, which is samples. I suggested Nexus in the first video, or the second video, I believe, because Nexus packs, expansions as they call them, usually comes with drums. So you do have an option there. However, if you're looking to get a little bit more diversified, I highly recommend what is my personal favorite, which is Loopmasters. They also have an app, kind of cloud connected version that will connect right up and speak to your DAW by the name of LoopCloud. Cool thing about LoopCloud is it's basically a sample website like its big brother, Loopmasters, but it's actually a sampler inside of that website. So you can literally take multiple samples, and unlike a static website where you just listen to samples and use your imagination, LoopCloud allows you to load in a handful of samples together and play them and see if they work together. And if they work together, obviously that gives you the green light to go ahead and buy them. And if they don't, you can decide which ones to swap out so that you can make a better choice and not end up spending money on things that you don't actually need or can use. I found LoopCloud to be unbelievably helpful. Drum samples galore on this website or LoopCloud. I like to use a lot of sirens in my music, ocean sounds, drum sounds, guitar sounds, anything you can think of. But the cool thing about this is between this and Nexus, you have everything you need. You can buy brass or horns, if you will, through Nexus that sound great. Or you can go on here and download a horn sample, put it into your sampler or simpler, and manipulate it that way. Transpose it into the correct key, and off you go. So between Nexus, Loopmasters / LoopCloud, you should have what you need. There's plenty on this website. Plenty, plenty, plenty. Vocals as well, which is nice. You can get different vocal packs to help with your productions. The other thing I might suggest is something that a lot of guys closer to about 10 years ago used, but these guys are, as far as I can see, sort of connected. I think in some way, I don't know how, but I think they either used to be or still are connected with Nexus, and that's Vengeance. Now, I don't know for sure, so this isn't me directly saying or accusing them of this, but I have read on forums that the reason why Vengeance is so revered is because they literally take drum samples, I guess, or samples in general of bass lines, whatever, lead lines, hi-hats, claps, snares, out of tracks and provide them to you. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I've read. But basically, the way that Vengeance has such a closely related sound to commercial tracks or to the genre of Focus is because they literally go into that genre, you know, take popular songs from that genre and cut out the samples from those tracks, and apparently, according to some people back in the day, resell them to you. Apparently, they got in trouble for this. I don't know how true that is. I don't really care. All I know is these samples have stood the test of time and are revered for sure. So, simple things like effects, you pay a pretty penny for them, but you get quality. Um, or I should say, you get the sound that you're after quickly. There's all kinds on here. No matter what genre you're into, you can basically find what you need. But between those sources, I think that you'll be able to find what you need sample-wise. Um, just since we're on this website, I have looked at um, Avenger before as well as an alternative and or a sidekick to Nexus. I've listened to their expansions and I've been pretty pleased with what I've heard. I think their website looks kind of dated and odd, which puts me on guard because you certainly don't want to buy an outdated product unless that's what you're going for. But I mean, they have expansions for newer genres like Future House, and yeah, I think this was the one I really liked, was their Funky House. Um, you could really get that kind of Call on Me, um, music sounds better with you, and an updated version of that oozes from this expansion, like the tune "Rain on Me," Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande. That just real funky DJ Dan style house. Um, I remember this really sticking out when I listened to these packs, and I really almost got it. So, um, this might be something to look into. I don't hear a lot of people talk about Avenger, but I was actually pretty impressed with it. And Vengeance does have a name in the industry for not messing around when it comes to really nailing a genre. So, you want dubstep. If Vengeance says these are dubstep drums or these are dubstep sounds, you better believe that that's the truth. They don't really cut corners, or swap that out for future bass or tropical house or trance or techno, whatever it is. So something to look into. I don't use Avenger yet, but I've been pretty pleasantly surprised with it. And I mean, just for the same reason that I use Nexus, anytime that you can cut out the need to sound design and just have ready-made sounds that sound great as is, I go for that. Sound design to me is one small part of the production process, but when you do it from scratch, it's an absolute time eater. it's just completely selfish with your time. It swallows up days on end, and you're just like, wow, like, where did half my week go? I just don't have time for that. So I go for ready-made sounds that sound great and can help me get on to the ultimate goal, which is completing a damn song, not sound design. There's nothing wrong with sound design. There's plenty of people that have jobs with that for video games and movies and things of that nature. It's just not what I like. And if our goal here is to make music, I don't really see the value in getting stuck on any one smaller branch of that ultimate tree. So something to check out there, guys. But at this point, you have samples, you have synth options, you have mixing options, you have mastering options, you have MIDI, chord progression, and melody options. And I think at this point, we can pretty much move into advanced production inside of Ableton.